Hello. To anybody who is wondering what taking shrooms would probably be like, if you have questions about it, if you're anxious about it, if you don't know what the fuck to expect before you take them, please listen to this video and move accordingly. I just basically want to try to clear up a lot of things for a lot of people who don't really know what they're about. Um, Basically, try to give people the best possible scenario for them to have the best trip. So we can just pretty much, try to clear up a lot of negative stigmas surrounding mushrooms. All right. So here we go. Me personally, again, this is all for educational purposes. So we just gonna go off of that. Don't this I ain't done this shit. You feel me? But I done this shit. So anyway, just had to get that one out the way. Uh, yeah. Real quick, damn, I got sidetracked for a little bit. But the positives and the negatives on taking shrooms. First off, what a lot of people need to understand is it's all mental. All right. So if you've ever had a bad trip, you've had a bad trip because you've had demons come up that you weren't anticipating, and when they came up, you were in a place to where you were looking at things from a more intense perspective. So, you know, your imagination ran wild, and it's just that simple. For people who have had good trips, if you've noticed, there's usually a common denominator in all of your good trips, and that's either good music, positive affirmations, or a positive person in the room to basically try to raise the overall frequency of the room, so therefore everybody is feeling better. Okay? That's what a lot of people need to start focusing on. If you want to avoid having a bad trip, surround yourself with good music. And when I say good music, I mean like Bob Marley. I mean like, who's a real good ass. Personally, for the type of person I am, Underachievers, uh, the album they just dropped, I forgot the fucking name of it, but Sun Through the Rain or After the Rain, After the Rain. That's a good album for you to trip to if you're basically a conscious person who is aware of what the fuck is going on. You like your trap shit, but at the same time, you like the shit to be a little uplifting at the same, that's a good album for you. Um, Kendrick is a good person to listen to, but you want to listen to, his feel good music, like I Love Myself type shit, or, um, even King Kunta, just things with high frequencies and, strong vibrations to where it basically forces you to think positively, in more, just in a more loving space, point blank, period. Who else? Lauryn Hill is a good person to listen to. Big Crit's a good person to listen to if you fuck with Crit. Ab Soul. Like, one of my favorite songs to listen to when I'm high and when I'm tripping is Pastor Blunt by Ab Soul. That's one of my favorite fucking songs to listen to. I fuck with the Zombies. Who else? Actually, I might just put my fucking playlist in the description or some real shit. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just put my trip playlist in the description. Alright? But moving on, start listening to the music that you personally enjoy. Music that when you put on, it puts you in a feel good mood. Put you in a feel good mood. You feel me? And I'm not talking about a mood to where you like, all right, let me pull my phone up and, let me call these bitches, or, it's time to go turn up at the club type of shit. I'm talking about songs that make you think introspectively. You feel me? Shit that forces you to kind of, put yourself in somebody else's shoes and then realize that, yeah, your situation really ain't that bad. Mushrooms kind of force you to see the bigger picture and shit. So basically what I'm trying to what I'm trying to allude to is you want to make sure you're not looking at the bigger picture of a negative situation versus looking at the bigger picture of a positive situation. You feel me? If you watching The Office, and that's a show for me that I fucking love, and that shit makes me laugh, I'll be watching The Office and I'll be looking at the shit, like, damn, I really wish I could work at a job to where, I have people that I really fuck with and I can see them every day type shit. You know what? Let me change my my work career, my profession, because what I'm doing right now ain't making me happy type shit. You know what? Where the fuck is my coloring book? Let me start painting type shit. That's where my mind to go just off of The Office. You feel me? Type shit. And before I know it, I'm painting and I'm doing a mural on my fucking wall, high as shit, not even realizing that I'm channeling fucking vibrations of feelings I ain't forgot that I had. You feel me? I'm on some nostalgic shit. I'm back in my my 7-year-old body, or I'm back in 7th grade when I'm drawing an art class type shit. It puts you in a whole different mind frame. And you want to just make sure you're in a good mind frame when you're doing this shit. Don't nobody want to be thinking about no negative shit. Because if you're thinking about some negative shit, the shit is just going to get so fucking intense to where before you know it, you don't want to do this shit. And when you're on shrooms, you come to the realization that time really doesn't exist. Time really just exists in this dimension alone. That's shit that starts to click when you start to flip that switch a little bit. But until then, I don't want you to put yourself in a situation where you thinking about some negative shit because you was listening to 21 Savage. You hear this nigga talking about guns and ASMRs and shit. And next thing you know, you overthinking the fucking poverty in the city and how the fucking system got niggas trapped in the matrix. And before you know it, you seeing glitches that you ain't even intend to see. Versus you listening to some Bob Marley, some Three Little Birds, or you listening to some Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin, and you really thinking, you know what? Fuck being mad about shit. Just I'm about to smoke my weed and just enjoy my fucking life. I'm in California. Let me pull up to the fucking beach tomorrow type shit. You feel me? It's just focus on trying to put yourself in a good mindset rather than focus on putting yourself in a bad one, because whether you realize it or not, we have external forces subconsciously programming us to think negatively. So if you're going to do some shit to where it's going to amplify your thoughts, consciously force yourself to think positive. And I apologize for yelling, but I'm going to get that shit out there, and I want to make that clear. Consciously force yourself to think positively. And then at that point, your brain will literally start reworking and rewiring itself. That's how mushrooms work. You feel me? Me personally, I like to take mushrooms when I'm at the lowest of my low, because I know for me mentally, once I'm at my rock bottom, there's nowhere for me to go but up. You feel me? Like, that's something that I've picked up on when I was a kid, when my brothers used to torture the fuck out of me, and there was nowhere for me to go but up type shit. To where whenever I'm feeling down and I would think about shows that I would watch like Dragon Ball Z when Goku or Vegeta was getting beat the fuck up and they always stood the fuck up, there's nowhere to go but up. You feel me? So it's just like when you start to translate shit like that, and for me, again, when I'm at my lowest of my low and I take something that amplifies my dark thoughts, can't nobody really scare me more than myself. So if I can make these dark thoughts manifest in my reality as powerful and as, strong as they are, then I can make positive thoughts manifest just as strongly. I'm just not used to thinking that way because I've got so accustomed to thinking negatively. So once you cut that negative link and then you reintroduce that positive one, it's kind of like what scientists are doing right now, where they're cutting out bad parts of our DNA and then they're basically just putting in good synthetic ones to basically re-cure fucking diseases and shit within the babies. It's kind of how shrooms work. You cut that negative link in your brain and then you put a positive one, so it just kind of forces your brain to start rewiring and thinking differently. And you'll start to see what I'm talking about once you're on it, but I want you to start focusing on how things work in your body internally versus thinking about all the negatives that can happen. And that's my main thing, Shrooms are eye-opening. And when I say eye-opening, I mean eye-opening. So I just want a lot of people to start seeing the right things before they start looking at the wrong things, Start looking at the beauty before you start looking at the darkness. And then at that point, I just want to, sign off on that one. You don't have anything to be afraid of. Just, the only fear is fear itself.